everyone. I'm Adam Brown, and this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of July 25th, 26th, and 27th. On today's show, we'll take a look at the new artwork hanging in the art studio in the Island Tunnel. And we'll be replaying some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV. But first, we want to let you swimmers know that some repairs are scheduled for next week at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. The exercise pool will be closed on Monday and is expected to be reopened by Tuesday. The lap pool will be closed Monday and will likely be closed through Friday. We want to remind you about an outing happening on Friday. It's a trip to the Sidney and Byrne Davis Arts Center to view the work of dozens of artists with special abilities from around Lee County. This display is in cooperation with Lee County and Lee Memorial Health System's Arts in Healthcare program. They call it Art by the Disabled, with the dis in lowercase and the abled in uppercase. There is beautiful 2D and 3D work on display. Afterward, the group will dine at the new Pincher's Crab Shack at the marina at Edison Ford, right on the water downtown. Cost for transportation is $13. You will be on your own for dinner, and platters at Pincher's run around $12 to $20. Pickup on the island will start at 3 p.m., at the Woodlands at 3:10, and at Eagles Preserve at 3:20. Return to Shell Point will be at approximately 7 p.m. More information is on page 20 of your Shell Point Life magazine for July. While the art downtown will certainly be worth the trip to go see, you can also view art by going no further than our own art studio in the Island Tunnel. Some of our Shell Point artists have been at it for a lifetime. Others have started their creative pursuits only recently. They regularly hang new work in the studio, and each time there is a different theme that the paintings fall into one way or another. The current hanging is called Another Time. Here is a little preview of what you will enjoy if you visit. Coming up, we are replaying some of the week's best stories from ShellPoint TV. But before we do that, let's cover all of the weekend's happenings, academy news, menus, and church news.
The weekend is upon us, so we are going to go over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday's activities taking place here at ShellPoint. The marketplace will be up at the administration courtyard, 8:30 to 11:30 on Friday morning. At 9 o'clock, the round-robin doubles tennis players will be playing. And if you enjoy the game of canasta, you'll want to be in the game room at 10 a.m. at the Woodlands. All those inquiring minds will be gathering in the Manatee Room at 10:15. And if you enjoy sailing your model yacht, you'll want to be at the Woodlands Commons Lake at 10:15. 10:30, we have a Health Connections educational program, What You Need to Know About Hip Fractures. This will be a wonderful and educational opportunity in the Oak Room at the Woodlands. 12:30, Mixed Progressive Bridge will take place in the game room at the Woodlands. And advanced table tennis will be played at 1:15 in the Tarpon Room. And the Quilters will be meeting at 1:15 as well in the Osprey Room. If you would like, please join the Vespers in the community room of the Arbor at 1:30. And Bidge Euchre will be played in the Sable Room at 2 p.m. We have another option for Vespers today. It's the community room of King's Crown this time, and they meet at 2:30. We have a great trip leaving today at 3 p.m. We're going to Art by Those with Special Abilities. Sign up was required, and if you signed up, we'll pick you up on the island at 3, 3:10 Woodlands, and 3:20 Eagles Preserve will swing by and pick you up. And our third Vespers opportunity today will take place at the Springs at 3:30. We have our traditional Friday night game night in the Resident Activity Center at 6:45. Are you ready for Saturday? Let's start off at 8 a.m. with pickleball, right at the pickleball courts outside the Resident Activity Center. Round-robin doubles tennis will be played at 8 as well. And at 9:30, the men's doubles group and the women's doubles group will be meeting at the tennis group courts. 9:45, duplicate bridge will be played in the Manatee Room. The Life Quest group discussion will be meeting in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands at 10 a.m. This is a monthly event that takes place, and the special guest speaker today will be Inga Burdell from the Activities Department in Assisted Living. She will also have some special guests with her today. Look at your ShellPoint Life on the Life Quest page for more information. 1 o'clock, chess will be played in the Library Lounge at the Resident Activity Center. And you have two options at 1:15, Scrabble in the Library Lounge and table tennis in the Tarpon Room. And if you enjoy line dancing, we have basic line dancing in the Health Club at 3:15, and we wrap up Saturday night with duplicate bridge in the Manatee Room at 6:30. And Sunday, 9 a.m. morning worship will take place in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. Morning worship will also be held in the Grand Cypress Room at 11, and we wrap up Sunday evening with evening service in the Social Center at 6:15. And that concludes our weekend activities. I'm Mary Franklin. I hope you have an enjoyable weekend.
Hello everyone, I'm Terry Coleth with your Academy information for the weekend. On Friday at 9:15, our Adobe Photoshop Elements workshop continues in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. I'd like to share with you what we have coming next week. On Monday, we have an Academy on-the-go educational field trip to the Edison and Ford estates. Sign up is required. And we also have session 3 of the Grandeur of British Painting with Dottie Megan. Sign up is required. On Tuesday, the final session of the Story of China with Professor Adrian Kerr, and you can sign up right at the door.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is seafood carbonara with breadsticks and lemon broccoli. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $15.95, and the soup of the day is cream of mushroom. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, the special is smoked sausage with peppers, onions, and fries for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are lamb chops for $22.95 or Florida lobster tail, also for $22.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, the special is a Philly cheesesteak with onion rings for $7.25. The dinner special is cheese manicotti with garlic bread and green beans for $8.25. The dinner special on Saturday in the Palm Grill is prime rib for $19.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features its Sunday brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Sunday, the special is a chicken tender wrap with fresh fruit for $7.25. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $8.25. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, Randy Woods, and I'm here today with Pastor Andy as we anticipate coming together again this Sunday, worshiping together in the Grand Cypress Room on Sunday morning. As we go through the summer, here it is, the end of the third month, the end of July, and renovations continue at the church, but more importantly, the worship time, gathering, the fellowship time has been very rich, and we're continuing this week as we study the book of Hebrews.
That's exactly right. I can't imagine how fast this time has gone because July is scary. The end of July.
The end of July.
There's something that raises protests in me when I think about that.
School's starting soon.
School is starting. Yeah. In fact, I heard they're back to school sales, and I say no. I can't believe it. But yes, even those things change like that. So, some things remain the same. We still gather for worship, which is a very special time in the presence of the Lord. And as you mentioned, we're in the middle of a series called The Superior Christ, based on the book of Hebrews. And you might wonder, how can we continue to study the book of Hebrews? Well, it's so rich in so many ways. It's amazing. Every week is something a little different and very encouraging for the people of God. And I think that's not going to be an exception this coming week. The message will have to do with a portion of the 4th chapter in which we're exhorted to hold fast the confession. And it has to do with the content of the gospel, the person and work of the Lord Jesus Christ. And once we've understood how the author of the book of Hebrews has unfolded the person of Christ through the various comparisons that he's used up to this point in time, and he's not finished yet either, up to this point in time, then he wants us to remember that there are certain truths about Jesus that we ought never to relinquish, that we ought to hold fast the confession. And so we'll learn what are the fundamental essentials of the gospel of Jesus Christ that we as the Church of Christ must hold on to. Regardless of our circumstance, context, culture, no matter what, these are the things that we have to hold on to.
Okay, so there'll be a list. There'll be some identifiers there.
Absolutely.
Good.
Will be.
To clarify that. Well, with that instruction as well, Sunday morning, the two services, the same service at 9 and or 11, but between the services, a great time of fellowship. Folks often linger after the first service for some refreshments and coffee there in the Grand Cypress Room and the Commons as we finish the service. And for those that are coming to the second service at 11, I invite you to come a little earlier and enjoy that fellowship, interact with our brothers and sisters as we continue to enjoy the ministry there in the Woodlands. Now, Sunday nights, we're gathering on the island. Sunday night at 6:15, we're continuing this series, Do You Love Me?
That's right.
Which we've started, which is a pretty in-depth Bible study that we've led, and folks are engaging with that. What are we going to address this coming Sunday night as we look at that topic?
Well, the series is based upon 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 8, which says that though you do not see him, you love him. And that results in joy in our relationship and walk with Christ. And so the various dimensions of loving Christ are the things that we're covering in this series. For instance, last week, we covered really what it means to love Christ and its necessity, how important it is to love Christ. And this coming week, we're going to look at the creation of a Christ lover. And then we've already looked as well at building a lifestyle of love for Christ, the kinds of things that we ought to pursue in order to increase our love for Christ. I don't know about you, but I love Jesus, but I don't love him enough.
Yeah,
and I want to find ways to love him more. And this Sunday we'll learn what it really takes to love Christ in the first place. And the bottom line is, and Jesus is very explicit about that, is that the one who's forgiven much loves much.
Yeah. And as you've mentioned, it's not about knowing or head knowledge. It's
That's
not
right.
even about experience, but it's that personal love, the affection for the person of Christ.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've grown, and I'm sure we'll continue to grow, and invite you to join us as we study and we grow together in the grace and knowledge of our Lord. So Sunday night on the island at 6:15. Trust you'll be a part of the worship services as we gather here at Shell Point, and it's going to be a great weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you as we gather together to worship the Lord. Have a great day.
It's time now to take a look back at some of the best stories from this week on Shell Point Today. We started off the week with a word about technology from resident Penny Modrich.
Hello, everyone. I'm here today with Penny Modrich of Nautilus, and we're going to talk about something you already know her as, the technology lady here at Shell Point. Thanks for joining me, Penny.
Well, thank you for having me, Terry. It's always a pleasure.
I can't say enough about what you do for people here. You take your iPads into assisted living and work with people where they are. You have these wonderful clinics that are just wrapping up for the summer in the teaching center on the island, and we're going to talk about not only the regular technology today and tomorrow classes coming in the fall, but new ones.
New ones, yes, we do have, especially one new one that I do want to mention, and that is getting around Europe on your iPad. Judith Krug came back from her trip with her husband, and she was so excited about how she was able to use her iPad as a GPS to get around Europe.
Amazing.
And then she took photos with her iPad, and she showed us some of the photos. In fact, I believe one of them won in the photo show. She won a prize. So she's so excited, and she's looking forward to giving the class. She's a little nervous, but she'll be fine.
So you and Bruce have introduced people to the Apple technology, the products, and taken them through the steps that they're the next level they're ready to take on. Now to the applications of wonderful things you can do with them.
Exactly. We like to start out with explaining to the residents why they would even want to consider having an iPad. Mm-hmm. And then once they get it, it's like, oh my goodness, now I've got it. What do I do with it? Mm-hmm. And then after we explain all of the parts, the working parts in it, mm-hmm. then we explain how we take them through all of the apps that they can get and the wonderful things that they can do with them. And one of them is that using it as a GPS.
Now, aren't there a lot of apps?
A lot. There are over 2 million apps out there now.
How do you ever decide what app you want?
Oh, well, we explain to the residents how they can siphon it down to just the one that they want. But actually, if you think about something, and instead of saying, I wonder if there is an app there, you type in the specific item that you're looking for, and there are many apps that you can choose from, and you'll be surprised.
So what I've done is I'm interested in art history, and all the apps for art history. Yes. Or the grandchildren.
Yes.
They are so good at finding the apps that they want.
Oh, yes. The games? Oh, my goodness, yes.
And not only grandchildren, the games are fun for adults, too.
Well, they're not just games. They are brain exercises. Sure. If you say, well, I like to do Sudoku, there are apps for that. And it's not time wasting. You are actually exercising your brain.
So it's brain fitness. It's also relaxation. Oh my gosh, to relax and do some research or look at beautiful pictures or play games. Exactly. It's social. Don't you play games with other people in some cases?
Oh yes, oh yes. I play Words with Friends with people around the world. So actually, yes, you do get to meet people from different countries and play games with them. It's very, very interesting and a lot of fun.
Oh, it sounds like it. Well, I just want to also point out, Penny, if there's somebody who doesn't know this, that in addition to all the teaching you and Bruce do, these help clinics are amazing because you're not saying, oh, I have a question, I have to wait until next semester for an answer. There's a clinic. You can just walk in and ask your question. How does that go?
Well, it used to be that people would call me and they would ask me a question, that how do I do something? And I could only either explain it to them over the phone if I could, and if not, I would tell them, well, come to a class. Well, when is the next class would be their question. And of course, the next class was going to be sometime down the road, maybe 3-4 months. Well, I didn't like to have to put them off for that long, so I thought this clinic would be a nice way for them to be able to come in and say, how do I do this? I'm stuck. Can you help me? I or one of the assistants, and all the assistants are wonderful, we will work with them and help them get them an answer. And then they're off on their merry way using their iPad.
That's wonderful. Well, I know when you and Bruce convinced me to try an iPad, and I'm so glad you did, it occurred to me that you could just start right out with an iPad. I think it's intimidating sometimes for people to think I have no experience with computers at all. I don't even really enjoy doing remotes or, you know, making the DVD player work. Is it possible that I could like connect and see pictures of my grandchildren or read internet? And yes, you can start with an iPad.
Yes.
And start with the application
Yes.
that you're looking for. To me, that's an amazing thing about technology, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I have more trouble with the remote, as you mentioned, than I do with my iPad. It's so easy, and actually, there are so many people who have just gotten one as a gift, or decided that they've heard so much about it, they decided they want it, or their computer went by way of the Nile, and they wanted to do something, so they get themselves an iPad, and they're learning, and they're learning so quickly, and they're finding out that it was easier than they expected it to be.
Well, we're certainly never going to replace a computer, not in our lifetime anyway.
I don't believe so.
And there's no need to. But for people looking for a different technology or to understand a gift maybe from someone, how wonderful to have technology today and tomorrow.
Yes, it's our thrill, our pleasure to do it. We enjoy doing it so much.
Thank you, Penny.
Thank you, Terry.
I encourage you to look at the fall brochure for the Academy of Lifelong Learning coming to your Shell Point mailbox in early August, and turn to T3, Technology Today and Tomorrow. Read about what Penny's been talking about. Take a chance.
The Shell Point Thrift Store has been a resounding... We heard from Melody Desolé at the Shell Point Thrift Store about getting the word out on Facebook.
Hi Shell Point, I'm Melody Desolé, and we're here at the Community Thrift Store. I have our wonderful Shell Point resident volunteer, Keith Farrell. Keith, what court are you in?
Nautilus.
Nautilus. And we have Patty Cox, who's the thrift store manager.
Hi.
And we're here today to talk about the Community Thrift Store and what a benefit it is to Lee County. Of course, as you can see, we have wonderful items here. Everything ranging from antiques to clothing. We have crystalware. We have furniture, everything in between. And any proceeds, tell us about that, Patty.
The proceeds go to benefit the seniors of Lee County.
Excellent. So in order to benefit the community, we've opened the store, and we also are starting a new initiative, and that's being on Facebook. So we are out in the open, so when you're logged into your Facebook account, be sure to look up the Community Thrift Store and like us on Facebook. Once you're logged in, you can see changes that we're doing within the store, with also new initiatives with furniture, new things coming in, of course sales and community walks. And Keith, what do you have to say about Facebook?
Facebook is a wonderful way to get the message out to the people. There's no doubt about that.
So be sure to like us on Facebook.
Work continues at the village church on the major overhaul of the interior of the sanctuary. While that is going on, residents and former pastors Jim Davey and Don Dragoo are taking advantage of the opportunity to spruce up a lot of the church's furniture.
Well, the church has 20-some pieces of furniture that needed to be refinished, restored, or improved. So while the church is closed, we've hauled out 4 kneelers, 13 modesty shields for the choir, the pulpit, the communion table, and a couple cabinets, 2 credenzas. So this is one of the things we did on several pieces. Don, explain what was here before.
This had a fabric that corresponded with the old color, and that fabric was on there 40 years, and you could almost put your finger through it and it places somebody had. And so we took this panel was taken off, and then we this veneer we glued on there and cut it to size and put it back.
we probably should say that the designer chose the veneer. We didn't choose the veneer. That was done by somebody with a higher pay grade.
But it's my understanding the veneer color was chosen because of the foyer and the furniture that's in there and the color of the doors.
Right.
And so it was an exacting process, but we think it turned out very well.
These kneelers weigh several hundred pounds, and they've never had casters on them. So when they had to be moved, people would drag them across the carpet, which tore up the carpet, and there were snags on the bottom of these things. So we decided to put casters on them, and there's a hidden caster on the front where the kneeling pad will go. But on the back, we've put a caster on that will lock in place. When it's up like this, the caster will retract, and this edge will go down and fasten itself on the carpet. But when they need to be moved, put this down, and that will lift up the kneeler, and it can be wheeled around. When we told a couple of the people in activities what we were doing with these casters, they were very pleased because they get to move these things from time to time, and we're happy to know that it would be easier. So,
we also put casters on the pulpit. We concluded that the two that were on the front, the two wheels, was not sufficient. And so, because somebody could get excited behind the pulpit and push it forward, and there would be a large crash and a very embarrassing situation. So we put casters on the pulpit that can be locked in place, and that can be moved about.
So we think we're within 2 weeks of finishing the project. We actually began on the 28th of March. We've worked on it every weekday morning since then, so we'll be happy to see this project come to completion.
Bob Southern, our Director of Project Development, is quite a collector, and he's been collecting things of historical value to Shell Point for decades. A group of resident volunteers has been gathering on Fridays to organize this treasure trove into an archive.
Well, we're involved in the archive project, which has been put together by Bob Southern, who has collected all kinds of materials over many years and decided that it may be a good idea to sort through this stuff and get ready for the time when Shell Point could develop some kind of archival display. So a number of us were enlisted as volunteers to help go through all of these materials, boxes and boxes of them, and begin sorting through it. Our initial step was to divide all of the materials into basic categories, and then to take one category at a time and make sure that the materials are placed in the proper kind of plastic material to preserve them. And then we also categorized them and explained in detail what was contained in the various pieces of information, whether it be a brochure, an advertising piece, or a letter, or a memo, or whatever the case may be. So we've gone through each of the pieces, sorted them out, detailed what's in them, categorized them, and then the next step is for it to go into a computer system, and that's being taken care of by Shell Point staff, and eventually we will end up with an archival display. So it's pretty exciting, and we're kind of thrilled about being a part of it. It's brought back a lot of memories for us because some of the people involved in the earlier years were people that we knew personally, and so we could identify them and kind of relive their experiences here in Shell Point through the material that we've read.
Since January, I've been working on the Shell Point Village News, which was the first little magazine that they put out, which is equal now to the Shell Point Life, I guess, but not quite as exciting. But it is fun to read it, and I started way back when Shell Point started, and they started to produce this little news item, and now I'm up into the 70s and 80s, so it's been a really fun project.
Today I'm working on some artifacts, boards that were prepared by an outside organization for a possibility at Shell Point. And so all of these will be put in some kind of an archival area so that people at Shell Point will be able to see what was the background here. And then not only that, but as your friends come, someday we hope there'll be a place where they can be shown. But what have we done? I've looked at pictures, aerial photos, what this place looked like before there was a Woodlands, before there was an Eagles Preserve. There are pictures that residents have taken, and one of the very interesting ones was to see the bridge on the island that goes along the river, and how that was taken out. The whole thing was closed off for a while. So that was interesting. And then letters between people, board members, directors, former leaders of Shell Point. Fascinating history, and Bob Southern has saved these pieces, and they are going to be available for everybody.
I guess in my early years here, I recognized that a lot of the archival documents of Shell Point in this particular instance at that time was relative to the construction history of Shell Point and the plans and specifications for the original buildings and site work on the island were not properly stored and in many cases not even really known where they were. So I started accumulating them and bringing them together and putting them in a proper storage facility so they'd be there for our use and for future generations. And we now have a proper method of storing and categorizing 45 years of Shell Point's construction history. A lot of these older ones you see up here, I don't know what all is where, but Bert Hill, Kozar Riddleman, they're the original architectural firm that actually came to Fort Myers with Shell Point, with the Christian Missionary Alliance to build Shell Point. So they're original designer of the island and all the original island buildings. And they were our architect up until we bought the expansion community and we started them as a new architect. But probably about the same time I started seeing bits and pieces of Shell Point's marketing and development history and resident history, and pieces would come across my desk, or we would see them as apartments were vacated, and I hated to see that stuff thrown out. I've always had a kind of a natural inclination toward that kind of history and wanting to see it preserved. So I just started accumulating it and preserving it and protecting it, with the idea that it would mean something to people someday. And I've been fortunate enough through what residents have kept over the years and what people have sent to me or what I've just found, that we've got a lot of stuff here that goes back into the earliest days of the selling and the marketing and the development of the Shell Point community. And the collection kept getting bigger and bigger, and it went from a whole lot of paper products to a lot of other items, from signs off of buildings that are gone. And I collect some things that might seem silly, but the old fence railings off of the guest house when they were replaced, they were very unique, and I have a section of that. And so there are many things like that that would just make what I hope one day will be a fun Shell Point museum. And we just started getting the idea that as this stuff started to really accumulate, that we needed to create a system of cataloging it and a searchable database, so that if somebody wanted to look up somebody that who was instrumental in the early years of the development of Shell Point, or they wanted to find out about some specific event, the opening of the Larson Pavilion or the construction of the village church, that by going to the searchable database and keying in certain key terms, that they would be able to find that, whatever we have in the archives relative to those things. So that's what the volunteers who have been so kind and gracious to come and help me with on this project, and in the end we hope to create a very usable and functional database of this material, and there's been some discussion going on of a future Shell Point Museum and some way to display some of the more interesting things, and I hope that that during my time at Shell Point that will come to fruition, because I would love to see it and love to see these things and Shell Point's history properly protected and displayed for all to enjoy. And it won't be too long, and we'll be hitting our 50th anniversary, and maybe that's a good time for us to be able to unveil some of these things that mean so much to so many people that live here and that have lived here, and those of us that have worked here for so long.
Robin Church gave us an update from the Shell Point Salon about some new makeup she thinks the ladies will really like.
Hi, my name is Robin, and I'm in the Island Salon. I am the salon manager here at Shell Point, and I just would like to introduce our new Mirabella lipstick line. This is a new 10-hour wear line, so it lasts a little longer. I have not tested it yet to see if it actually is 10 hours, but it does wear longer than a regular lipstick. The colors are fantastic, very modern, and a good palette that you would see in a lot of your fashion magazines today. They also introduced a lot of new lip glosses, which aren't always real popular here at Shell Point, but they really are very pretty. They create a very moist, shimmery lip, and that is really what is out there today in today's fashion. So if you'd like to stop by and try on a few colors and check out the new Mirabella lip palette, please just stop on in or give me a call, and we'll make special arrangements and play with makeup a little bit and do a little makeover. I'd be happy to do that anytime. The salon phone number is 489-8400. Extension 1 for the Island Salon is where the Mirabella is located. Thank you, and have a great day.
The new day respite program at the Arbor is off to a great start. Inga Bredal introduced us to someone you will get to know well if you take advantage of this new service.
Hello, I am Inga Bredal. I am the Activities Coordinator for the Assisted Living Facilities here at Shell Point. And I'm really excited today because we have joining us Betty Hesselgesser. Betty is part of the team for the new Respite Day program here at the Arbor. One of the things, as all of you know, I love activities, and we always have fun at our assisted living buildings here at Shell Point. So we might as well have fun at the Respite Day program as well. One of the things that we love to do, as you know, Betty, is we want to incorporate all of the Life Quest programs. We do the emotional, the spiritual, physical, socialization, and one of the things that I'm very proud of is all the things that you're incorporating with this program. Tell us some of the things that you are doing here in the respite program that the residents that have been joining have enjoyed.
We've been baking, we've been doing the Wii game, we've been doing necklaces, we do puzzles. They've been having a lot of fun with bingo.
One of the things I know that they also have enjoyed is, and that's what's special, is they are also able to participate in a lot of the other programs that we have going on. We have, I think Randy Woods is coming this month to sing here with Bobby Greer, his mother-in-law, and the residents get to attend those type of events as well. Also, the Arbor is situated in such a beautiful landscaping around here, and when it's not too warm, you get to go out to the gazebo and take walks. Is that right?
That's right.
What is it that they like?
Have a picnic too out there.
You're going to have a picnic,
yes,
and what's really nice about going out to the gazebo or just taking a walk around this building is all of the nature that you see, and you get to enjoy the environment. What is it that you could do when you go to the gazebo?
We can have a picnic. We can sit and watch, maybe see how many different birds we see out there, what other kind of critters come to have a picnic with us.
There you go. You know, another thing that I enjoy, and actually I have to tell you, sometimes I'm really exhausted when I do it, is sittercise.
Yes.
And that's a really fun exercise, but I also know that you do some other physical activities to keep them going and healthy. So what are some other things that you do?
We do walks up and down the hall. We go to the sittercise class with the other residents here at the Arbor. We do stretches. The Wii game, you might not think it's physical, but it is.
Oh, believe me, I know, it really is.
So.
Besides that, do you also, I know right now it's a little warm, but like you said, you can go on the walks, possibly go over to take walks more towards the woodlands as well, correct?
Yep.
I think that's great.
right.
Also, we do spiritual here. Spiritual is very important here at Shell Point. What are some things that your group could be involved with that?
We're going to start going to the Vespers with the residents from the Arbor. We're going to go to some of the musical that Randy Woods and his sister-in-law is going to be singing at. Our residents love music.
Very good. I also know we have a Bible study program as well, and that's something that they can attend too. Also, socialization. Tell me about some of the things that you do for socialization. That's such an important part of an everyday.
We ask them where they came from, what their favorite things were, and a lot of them have told me about what they've done for a hobby as well as what they've done for work.
And you know what's really special about something like that is that, as you and I have spoken, is that you can create your calendar around some of their interests. It's possible that some of them had been in the service, and so by doing that you can talk about veterans, you can have someone come in and speak about military life, or you can show a World War II video and things like that, which I think is really great. What are some other thoughts that you had about something like that?
Well, the other day we made a patriotic flag. I did with the residents, and they had a lot of fun doing that.
And how did you do that?
Well, we took croissant rolls, put them in a pan, moved them together, put cream cheese on the next layer, and then they done stripes with pie cherries and blueberries in the corner for the stars. Turned out very nice, and they were all thrilled.
Very patriotic. Right. Now, did they enjoy making it, or did they enjoy eating it more?
They enjoyed both.
I bet they did. You know, and that's one of the nice things about this Respite Day program is that the participants can do this as a flexible type of a program. We adjust our activities to who is here, so it's a personal one-on-one type of a program. You can also have the participants come for half a day, a whole day, once a week, once a month, whatever it works for all of your schedules. And that's what's so nice about this, is that we are here for all of you and for the participants to make their day a special one. You know, one of the wonderful things about working in activities is the resident. And as all of you know, I absolutely love working here, and I enjoy my day on a daily basis. And I know, Betty, you are just the same.
Yeah.
What is it that you enjoy the most about being with the residents?
I just enjoy the resident themselves. It's something that I've always had in my heart. I've been in this type of work now for probably 20 years, and each resident is like my parent. I treat them as I would my parents, and I just thoroughly love my job. I've been at the Arbor now for 9 years. Started out at an HCA, went to the front desk, and now I'm in respite care, which I feel like is my calling.
Well, we all know what a wonderful person you are, and we're very lucky that you're part of our group.
Thank
we
you.
Really appreciate you. And you know what's really wonderful is that I actually heard from someone whose loved one has been here, and this person was so thrilled with the program and said that it was such a relief to him that he knew that she was in a wonderful place, having a great time right here at Shell Point. Now, if any of you would like to have more information on utilizing this wonderful new program and learning more about the Respite Day program, if you have a question, or if possibly you have a friend that might be interested, please make sure you give a call at 454-2292, and we'd be happy to help you. And we look forward to having your loved one participate with Betty and myself and the rest of the group.
Another great service to Shell Point residents are the various support groups that meet regularly. Resident Sue Moore told us about the Parkinson's support group.
I'm Mary Franklin, here today with Janine Hammond, the Resident Support Services Manager, And also Sue Moore, a resident here at Shell Point, to talk about our monthly Parkinson's enrichment group that meets here at Shell Point. Janine, you're the leader of this group.
Absolutely.
Thank you for taking on the important charge of making sure we give support to those who have Parkinson's. I find it interesting that you say enrichment group. Why did you decide to give it that name?
Well, it's more than just a support group, I think. We do strive to provide education to the folks that come to the group so that they can learn more about Parkinson's, learn about what's available to help support them. So I think more than just the support that we get from the other folks that come to the meeting, the education piece is important.
Right. And a lot of that education comes from an outside source, right?
Yes, we do partner with the Hope Parkinson's group locally, part of the Hope healthcare system, and that allows us to kind of connect with some resources even outside of Shell Point that in the greater community might be of support and assistance to the folks that come to the group. They have yearly symposiums, and they have a lot of connections with the University of Florida, which has a significant Parkinson's program. So we really have a lot of resources by partnering with them.
So you really are able to educate the people that attend. And also, it's not just the person that is dealing with the Parkinson's that come. The spouse or a friend a lot of times comes to learn as well.
Absolutely. We have a lot of caregivers, spouses, partners that come with someone that has Parkinson's, because it really is both of them that are involved. We're happy to have programs, have educational pieces, have support for both parties.
Becomes a family, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It does.
Absolutely.
Now, Sue, you've had a wonderful experience, and tell us your journey from day one when you walked into the group to how you feel today.
I have always been a very proactive person. Yes. And after I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, we came immediately to Shell Point and signed up for a little foot-in-the-door studio apartment, which gave me the opportunity to join this group. And I came right away. I learned at that very first meeting that you need to go to a doctor who specializes in movement disorder. That is the most important thing that I learned. And so I traveled up to Tampa to see Dr. Zezowitz up there, and she gave me my life back. I really thought my life was over. The only people with Parkinson's I had ever seen were in wheelchairs, and I truly expected to be there in 6 months. Well, not so.
How long has it been?
About 8 years. And Dr. Zezowitz explained to me what was really important: exercise. She said, Parkinson's, don't give it another thought. We have new things coming down the pike all the time, and that is true. And then I learned how important it was to educate myself. And through the symposia that I attended, and by asking other Parkinson's patients, I have dry mouth. What should I do about that? And so somebody told me what I should do about that to conquer that problem. I learned to be very open about my disease. That's the other thing. There's no stigma. I learned through education that I am in control, that the disease is not in control, and that's a very big thing.
Powerful.
Powerful.
You've really taken that being proactive to heart and put yourself in the driver's seat, which is so important.
It's so important. If you think of yourself as a victim, you will be.
Right.
The other thing that I have learned is that it's perfectly okay and very good to accept other people's help. That's false pride. My mother told me that. It's false pride when you say, oh, I don't need your help. I can do this myself. No. If people offer to help you, step down, go down the stairs, enter a car, whatever the help is extended, you take it with gratitude that they are there.
Right.
And knowing about something and accepting the help that is available, those are two very different processes, and it's very important, I think, to accept the help. The other thing that I have really, really tried to do, and I think it's true for all of us as we age, is to live in the now. That's all any of us have. We are all a heartbeat away from our Maker, and there's no point in looking back and regretting what you didn't do. There's no point in being afraid of the future, because all we have is right now. And so we must make the best of what we have right now and be grateful for what you do have.
Right.
And so this is a family, a fraternity of people who share the same chronic disease. This is not like measles that you get over. This is something that you have to learn to live with day by day by day.
Janine and Mrs. Moore, thank you for being here. The information about the Parkinson's Enrichment Group can be found each month in your Shell Point Life. It will announce the date and the time and the location of the meeting. As you can see, it's a very powerful group, and if you are in need of help with the Parkinson's, accept the help and attend this session. I'm Mary Franklin. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Friday of last week was the big day to distribute the school supplies to families of Shell Point employees. This culmination of a lot of hard work and generosity by Shell Point residents results in a parade of smiles from grateful employee parents and grandparents. It's a fun day that is the high point of a wonderful annual Shell Point tradition.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Sir, thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
I know.
Thank you so much.
You talk to me again.
This is Now there's personalized Well, it gives me great pleasure knowing that we're helping the parents save a little bit of money for something else.
Oh, actually, this is the fun part because all the employees are so thankful for what we do for them. And so it's really fun to see them come in and get their things. And then I try to remember to tell them to study hard.
It's a great project we do here. A lot of work, but we get it all done. 650 bags for the employees' children. And I think they all appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you so much. It's your generosity is much appreciated. That's what it was coming. It was getting there. Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for this week. We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in again next week for more news and stories from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of July 25th, 26th, and 27th. I'm Adam Brown, and for all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.